I was messing around with this puppy right here. This here is the Yamaha TX816. It's actually technically the 216 with 4 modules. The TF1. It's basically a DX7 in each module. I've been messing around because I had to replace the battery in one of these things so that it retains some of the settings. But what I have been messing around with is playing with the tuning on each individual unit and using the same voice and then comparing that to a single DX7 voice. So I have set up on Bitwig here. The channels, you can see this first channel is the first TF1 module, the very far left. This is the second, third, and fourth module. This here is a copy of one of them, and this is in mono, and they're roughly level matched. And these ones here are all panned, and you can see the flashing number on the modules. That is indicating the level of tuning that it is. If they were all set to 0, that means they're all equal. The one on the far left that's blinking, there's a small dot on the top left. That's set at -11, whereas the far right here is set at +11. The number 2 is set at +7. Number 3 is set at -7. And in Bitwig, what I have is the far left channel here is panned far left. Then we go up to about panning left at about 50, panning right at about 50, and then panning hard right for the fourth module. And I don't want to stress too much on the settings per se because there's variable things you can set them at. But what I'm going to do is compare the 4 voices that are separately tuned, so out of tune with one another, and also panned in such a way, versus the mono signal of the same voice. So here's the mono. And multi-voice. So I'm using the internal voice number 1, which is a brass section that comes with the DX7. Versus the multi-voice. So not surprising, huge difference. I think if in a production, you probably would go one of either ways. You wouldn't want to go with straight up mono for all your sounds, but you also wouldn't want to go straight up big spread wide 4 voice sounds for all your sounds. I think the trick here is to find a balance between complementing sounds and having, let's say, a nice solid rounded bass that's mono down the middle, and then you find some kind of a nice lush pad that goes stretched far out to the left and to the right, and it's big and lush and detuned with a multi-voice. That can work, and they complement each other. But I just wanted to show the difference between the two, and for you to think about that in your productions. Because the whole point of why I bought, or no, I didn't buy this. I traded this thing for some outboard gear. But the whole reason why I kept it for so long is because I wanted to experiment with this type of thing. And I knew that I loved the DX7 sound. And this was basically a promise for getting 4 DX7s in one, and I could mess around with big lush pad sounds by doing this. The other thing is it's pretty difficult to transfer the voices from the DX7 to this unit if you just don't know how to do it. It's actually a simple process. To have to learn this old school technology from scratch is kind of a gong show, and it was just kind of tucked away. But I finally got around. I bought the battery. It's super cheap. It's like a $4 battery. It's soldered on, which is a total pain in the butt, but I resoldered the new battery on one of the units. There was something wrong with one of these units, and it's because I wasn't loading the voices properly. But I downloaded the manual and had a quick read over and finally figured out what I was doing wrong. Reset it all so all the voices are nice and proper in each module, and they're all playing correctly now, so I can actually do this. So the next thing that I'm kind of just thinking and worried about is to have all of my external synths set up in such a way where I can record them into the interface all individually, or set them up with my old school vintage Yamaha mixer, route them all into that unit so that I can use my external effects. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do yet, but the adventure awaits.